Welcome, everyone,
Hiya.
to these reading sprints. How are you, Angela? I know you just arrived and you were,
Yes.
you know.
Well, I went grocery shopping because I got home from Pennsylvania for Thanksgiving on Saturday, and I just ended up not grocery shopping yet. I had my car had some problems last week, and
Mm.
so I needed to I needed to switch out the rental for my car. And like all of these things happened, right? So
Mhm.
I just hadn't gotten to it, and then I finally grocery shopped today, and I made a little wrap for myself.
Aw.
So I have not eaten it yet, but I was able to make it.
Mm.
Yay! I'm
Yeah, I
excited.
also came back because I was visiting my dad for like a week. Not Thanksgiving, because I'm living in France, so we
Mhm.
don't really have Thanksgiving, but I was still, going to see my dad for like a week. And I came back yesterday and I still haven't gone grocery shopping because yesterday I was very tired because there were delays with the train, there were problems. They told us, like nothing, and it was cold outside and we had to wait like 30 plus minutes outside. So I was tired and I was
Yeah,
like, yeah, I still have things in my pantry, and like that's fine. We're good.
we'll be
Pasta is good,
okay.
no effort, that's okay. Um, and I heard that today was a strike in France.
Oh
And I was
no.
like, okay, maybe I don't go grocery shopping today. And I don't think
Yeah,
if it
yeah.
I don't know if it was like a general strike. I'm sure like the supermarkets are usually open. And I'm in a small village, so it's not that bad or anything like that. But I was like, meh, I still have
Might
things
as
in
well
my
respect it.
pantry.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
we're good. So
yeah,
like, but tomorrow I will have to go grocery shopping. But like that's a tomorrow problem.
yeah. I'm just glad that I even went grocery shopping to get food. I was really
Mm.
subsisting on like cereal and oat milk and like ramen. That was
Oh,
basically
I
what I
see.
had in my house. And like
Yeah, no,
some frozen veggies that I would toss into the ramen sometimes. But like
sure,
that's not a good
sure.
diet for anyone to be on. So I'm glad that I have actual food. What I really need to do is sit down and like decide which meals I want to make over the next week and like make a list and go like real grocery
Mhm.
shopping. I just did a quick Aldi run, but like I'm just happy to have a meal that I made with my hands here for me to eat.
Sure.
So yay. Exciting stuff.
I mean,
That
I
being
I
said,
do.
you're reading A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking, and I am very excited about that for you. It's very cute.
Yeah. No, it is
You
very cute.
want to come?
I am buddy reading this with a friend, and we're, buddy reading a book every month. And I was the one who said, like, I feel like December we should go for a cozy book. And
It's
then I,
perfect
I
for
put
this time of year.
several I put several like choices up for like cozy read, and we decided on this one. Because we've both like
It's a good
really
one.
enjoyed Kingfisher before. I'm like 25% in or something, I think. So we're reading it this like, I mean, it's a very quick read, right? So reading
Yeah,
this like
it's
in
like a
four.
middle grade. It's very
Yeah,
fast.
yeah. Yeah, it's a middle grade, but somehow murder mystery. I didn't know the murder mystery part because I like Kingfisher so much that I'm like, going into her books blind. The only thing I check for Kingfisher is this a horror? Because I don't read horror,
Yeah.
right? So if it is
I
like
knew
a
exactly what
pure
you were going to
horror,
say.
then I'm not reading it. Otherwise, I'm like, yep, putting it to the TBR or something. And
Yeah.
I got this one as like a ebook deal, like like years ago, I think. At this point,
Sure.
it was a long time ago, but like yeah, I knew I would be going to it. So I'm only gonna be reading like 25% of it because like we're chatting every day for this, which is like probably like an hour reading or so. So we'll see. And
So
then
we'll get to
I'm
see something else
switching.
in just a few sprints.
Yeah, after that, I'm switching to the library hold that I got. The Things Gods Break, which is the sequel to
The Games Gods
oh my
Play.
god. Yes, exactly. Um
I have not read the
I
sequel
think
yet, so you're beating me to that. Good job.
I know. I think
You can let me know how much of the first one I need to remember in order to read it, because I
okay.
remember like the premise,
Yeah.
a few of the scenes.
Yeah.
I think I might remember some of how the ending felt. But other than that,
So I don't want to put too many spoilers, but the way it is
yes,
written, you don't need to remember anything nearly of what happened
perfect.
before,
Great.
because like they do, like the way it's written, you do have some recap without having a recap, if it makes sense, right? um
Sure.
yeah, so it's also like there were like, even without those scenes that are recaps, it's like it's funny because like they also put like in there like something so that you remember, right? Of like, oh, the main character feeling and remembering, how frazzled she felt when she did blah blah blah, and then you have a small recap without having a recap or something. So it's fine. It's fine. um Also, like, so far with the amount of characters that I had to remember or things like that, it's fairly okay. But also maybe because you're following a character who's like in another space with like a limited set of people you should remember anyway from the first book. So we'll see later on. I'm only 10% in, so like, yeah.
Good stuff.
Um,
Well, I feel like by this point, you would at least know if you were going to get lost by not remembering what happened in the first book. Like there might be a twist or something you don't see coming because you don't remember everything from the first one. But it sounds like you're not feeling lost, which is good.
No, I'm sure at some point I might get lost if like there's a character that I'm supposed to remember the name of that was like in the trial somehow, like in the first book, and I
Right.
won't remember or something. But with the way that the author is writing things, I feel like even if, like it's a name that I don't maybe remember, the way it's gonna be written will, let me know at least like a something that will let me know where it's from, where this character is from,
For
not
sure.
just the name or something, right? Just it's just because like I'm actually reading another sequel, but like as a buddy read with a friend that we put on pause because it's like an epic fantasy, and that one is like it's
I
the
don't remember
uh,
it. Yeah. It's hard.
it's the series by Ryan Cahill, and that one is like the Bound and the Broken, I want to say, the series, something like this. Um the the first one
I feel like
was
I tried a
of
Ryan Cahill.
it's so the problem with that one is that there's like 30 plus characters. And so like
That's too many.
when I'm reading this sequel, this second book, it feels like every single name they throw at me and with
No
no
context.
background information, which so that's
Sure.
why I'm talking about this with the Things Gods Break, because it's completely different. So it feels like the author will let me know and will give me like a hint or something, or where it is. um
Yes.
Although, to be fair, the Ryan Cahill, they did tell me, oh, we saw him in this tavern, but it was like 700 pages ago, and we met this character only once, and we met like 50 plus characters after that. So yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I'll be reading Thief Liar Lady, which is an arc that I got through Libro FM like maybe a year ago. Like it's been a very long time. I'm trying to clear
Mhm.
out my Libro FM back catalog. This is a Cinderella retelling where Cinderella is a con artist, and she's working with her stepmother and her stepsisters to kind of set up this situation where
Mm,
she ends up married to the prince. And so it still seems like her stepmother's taking advantage of her a little bit. It's not like they're totally like lovey-dovey, oh, everything's great. But she definitely wasn't like a servant locked in the attic, right? Like that wasn't the vibe.
mm,
She was like learning how to like kill people and use magic and then like using those skills to infiltrate the castle is kind of the vibe. So it seems
Got it.
kind of fun so far. I'm having a good
Okay.
time. But I'm not really far enough along to give
Yeah.
a real
Yeah.
assessment of it yet. I don't know exactly what percentage I'm on. I'm actually gonna have to go on a little phone quest and find my cell phone. Oh, I found it. My phone quest was not as long as I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to have to like walk around my room to try to figure out where my phone was so that I could read my book. Yeah, I'm only 5% in. It's actually it's pretty long. It's like a 17-hour audiobook, which is pretty lengthy.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, longer than I would necessarily expect for the premise. But so far I'm enjoying it. And if I'm enjoying it, I'll continue to read it. So
Sure. Yeah. And I'm enjoying
cool.
also, I don't think we actually talked about the book that I'm reading, The Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking, what it is.
You said you were about a quarter
Exactly.
of the way through and that it was
Yeah.
cute and cozy. Yeah.
Murder mystery. Uh I think the magic system is very interesting. The idea that you have those like magics that like affect like a subset of something, like the main characters affecting baked goods, so like flour and stuff, so she can tell the baked goods to like not over cook or burn or things like that, and it's just funny. The sourdough starter, Bob, love it. No notes.
Bob's great. What die do you want me to roll, Clementine?
I don't know. I feel like a D8 because I feel like we haven't done a D8 in a while. I don't know why. The D8 is calling to
We
me.
got a 5. So 60 divided by 8 is 7.5 times 5 is 37.5, which is very reasonable.
Yeah. I'll let you decide if you want to leave a 0.5 or something. If you want to leave in 30 seconds.
Yeah, so it won't let me do
Yeah.
the 0.5. So I'm changing the color of the cat. Let's do something. It's wintry. Let's do something wintry. This is wintry. Alrighty. It's the screen. We're reading. I rounded up to 38 minutes, which seems like a pretty good amount of time. Good luck. I'm going to disappear so I can eat my wrap without being self-conscious about getting sauce on me. Bye. Good luck.
Welcome back. Let us know what you did, how you did. How much did you read, Angela?
Fabulous question. I read. I am another 5%. So I am 10% into my book now.
Nice.
It's shaping up to be kind of a political situation. The problem is that the world seems pretty simple,
Mhm.
but the politics are like trying to be pretty high stakes. So
Mm.
I'm not sure exactly how those two things will mesh together. But I'm still enjoying it. How's yours?
Good. If you've seen me, I gasped a little bit because that was a very important scene and I was like not expecting this. High action and like a it's still a cozy way, right? Because even if you're like running for your life, you still have like very funny moments too. Um I did enjoy the bread slices, water running kind of thing. Trying it to keep it spoiler free, right? But it was funny. So I only read 25 pages, but I'm also like I'm okay taking my time with this one, to be honest. I'm fine. Um,
Yeah. And
and
I
I'm just
am,
reading
my
it.
school is,
Sorry, I'm just reading it
no, no,
physically, and
no.
I was making myself a herbal tea, so I may have stopped reading for a few minutes.
How
Sorry, I cut you
dare
off.
you?
Yeah, I know.
How terrible. I just figured since everyone could see me embroidering, I would give a little embroidery progress. So I'm making a little gingerbread man. My school is doing like a gingerbread craft. Yeah, hey, it matches. My school is doing like a little gingerbread craft contest for
Mm.
December. And so this is going to be my submission. I bought the pattern on Etsy and I'm enjoying it so far. So I just did his little red buttons. And then there are some other bigger flowers that I want to do first, because it's hard for me not to snag on other things when I do the big flowers. Um, so I'm going to do some big, like golden flowers and then get started on all the little stuff. That'll take me forever. But this is all the red that'll be on the thing. So we're going to do some like brownish gold and then a little bit of white for the eyes and like some decorations on the side.
Cute.
Should be good. Thank
Cute.
you. It'll be nice to kind of watch it come together during sprints. I obviously won't finish it today.
Sure.
Um,
Sure, sure.
it'll probably, you know, it's due on the 17th. I think I can get it. I'm sure I can get it done in the next 2 weeks if I actually do the thing. I just need to actually do the. I mean, actually do the thing. It'll be fine.
Yeah, usually having like a deadline of like a few weeks does help me be more productive. Like for example, I just starting doing the crochet things I wanted to do for Christmas presents.
Oh
But like,
goodness, yeah.
I know. Yeah, I know. But like I'm planning to make hats. They're not like it's not also like it's not
That's
I'm
not too
not
bad.
doing like a
Yeah,
revolutionary pattern or anything. I'm doing a very
you're not
simple
doing
kind of
blankets
tube
again.
thing.
Yeah.
Um so, it's okay. But still, although there's another one that I'm not sure I will have finished for Christmas, but it's okay if I haven't because then it could be like a birthday present and I have 6 more months. Uh, but because like I wanted to make a blanket for my uncle. So
Yes, I remember you saying that. So saying that you've just started making some of the presents makes me go ah. But you're
I
right.
know.
Doing
My
this
uncle's
together makes
blanket
that is like,
probably won't be finished, but that's also because like I struggled to see like what yarn I was gonna take and all those things. And
Mhm.
now I'm worried that the yarn I took is like too is not thick enough for what I wanted to do. So I might need more. I'll see what it does. It's also an easy pattern, but I have to see what it is. So I think it will be his birthday present, to be honest. To be completely honest. But it's okay because I have a lot of other ideas, for his Christmas anyway. So
Good.
we're okay.
Good stuff.
Um, I bought him one of those, because he loves making puzzles. So I bought him one of those, things so that you can like put the puzzle away. Um,
Oh, yeah, yeah, like a mat to roll
yeah,
up.
yep, yep. It's like he does use, like his big kind of table, and it's fine because he's living on his own, so he does have the space in his house. But I felt that, it would be nice for him to have that because he could say in his mind, oh, then I don't have to just use up the space then, and I can, roll it up and out, in and out like that. Anyways, um,
For sure.
so today I thought we could chat about the Goodreads Choice Awards, but I realized looking at Goodreads that the finalists actually only come out in 2 days.
Ah, so are
So,
we looking at is it that they have long lists right now, or is it just nothing?
so right now I think we're waiting because I think the last, 10 finalists kind of thing was the vote was up until 2 days ago, maybe something like this, right? I
Okay.
think. But I'm not I'm sure you can see the nominees so far. So like the top 10 for each of the categories if we wanted to. Hi
I have not
Michelle.
seen anything at all. Hi,
Okay.
Michelle. Good to see you. I have not seen anything at all about the Goodreads Choice Awards. Like, I haven't watched any videos on it.
Sure.
I haven't looked at them, and I certainly haven't voted. So I would totally be open to looking at some of the categories. I also haven't been doing a very good job of reading front lists this year, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that I will have too many opinions. But if you do, would you
Sure.
want to share your screen for that, or do you want me to pull it up?
I can share my screen. Let me pull it up. I think I
Awesome.
don't have a lot to say, to be honest. I also realized looking at the list that I haven't read a lot of this year's, like releases in a lot of
Yeah.
spaces. But like I also think it happens a lot to me. Even last year was the same. Um and also like when I look at the top, I think at first you have a top 30, 30, 30, I think. Is it 20 or 30? I feel like 30 list at the beginning, the first stage, and then they narrow it down to 10. And I think with the 30 list, I do have a few at least, in the fantasy romantasy category. But like in this case, after like we went to 10, nothing. Let me
Mhm.
see. I don't wait.
I will be very surprised if I've read more than, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 of the books that we see on the
Uh-huh.
list today.
Mm,
Um, but I will be interested in looking.
okay.
Which
Let
category are we going
me
to look at first? Because I would love to throw out just a few predictions and be like, oh, maybe this or this.
Sure. Since, I'm the one like showing this, I can show it,
Mhm.
for whenever you want.
Sure.
Oh, wait. It doesn't seem like wait. Oh, okay. I
What's wrong?
unless I'm stupid, I can't see it. It's like they closed
Oh,
things and now you can see if there are nominees on your shelves, but you can't like I don't know. Wait. Let me just share what I'm seeing. 'Cause, like
Okay. It might be that it's not just not a good topic for tonight. It seems like the universe is kind of conspiring against us here.
because like I'm seeing like this is your voice has been heard, whatever. We're telling the votes. And then there's
Hmm.
like this big nothing, and then there's like previous years and not the nothing, and then I just have nominees on the but maybe if I click on this, which I guess okay. So I guess we're seeing the fantasy first. It was a weird kind of clicking moment, I guess. Um so
That's
fantasy.
okay. I've been trying to think of any books that have literally come out this year, and I haven't been able to think of hardly any at all, which is kind of
So
shameful.
one I forgot happened this year because it's been like earlier this year is the new Brandon Sanderson, the way
Was it Wind and Truth?
the yep, book
Yep.
5, in the series. So obviously that one I wasn't very surprised about. So here's the list. So first one we have is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by D. Schwab.
Mhm. Oh, Catabasis. We
You
should
know,
have.
Catabasis.
Um,
Those two are not, they're not, of course they were going to be in there. Then we have Water
yeah.
Moon. The Strength of a Few by James Islington, of course. I
Yep,
think
that
The
makes
Will of the
sense.
Many
Will
was.
of the Many was extremely popular, so I'm not
Yep.
surprised to see Strength of the Future.
Win and Truth. Yep, of course.
Hmm.
Stephanie Garber. Yeah, I could have. I mean, I guess it's from her being an established author from, her previous series. I'm assuming that she was put in there. Um, Amal al-Mutar, The River Has Roots. I'm, you know, pleasantly surprised that we at least have a little bit of, uh, minority authors. The Sirens, Amelia Hart. This one I know nothing about. I feel like I've not even seen the cover. I don't know what
I
this
haven't
is.
even seen it. Yeah.
Let me actually a story of sisters separated by hundreds of years but bound together in more ways than you can imagine. 2019, Lucy awakens in her ex-lover's room in the middle of the night with her hands around his throat. Oh, okay. It does have 44,000 ratings. Wow. But I never heard of
Maybe
it.
it was like part of a book club or something.
Maybe. Um, I don't know if you see if I change page like this. Do you see the
Yes, I
book
can
right
see the
now?
new page.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So it was published in February of this year. So it has been out for a little bit. Um, oh, interesting. It's an Australian setting. Okay. That's interesting. Yeah, maybe it was a book club of some sort, or I mean, because like I don't feel like I even know who the author is, and if they wrote something else. Oh, Wayward. Oh, now I know the author. Okay,
Mm.
okay, okay, okay. And this one is more like it was historical fiction, so that's the question sometimes we have. Like, I think this one, The Raven Scholar by Tanya Hodgson, is
I have heard a
definitely,
lot of things about this one. Yeah.
yeah, I've heard a lot of things about this one, and it is on my TBR. But also like it is a romantic fantasy, right? And it's true that it does have a good big emphasis on the fantasy part, but there's always the question with the romantasy versus fantasy. What is romantasy? What do you consider fantasy, right? So it's interesting to see
Yeah,
which one is in one part and the other. And the last one, I could have guessed The Devil's, Joe Abercrombie. I haven't read it yet because I have other things to read from the author, but yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of books that, if you remembered that they were happening this year, um, yeah,
it makes
I
sense
think
that they're on
there's,
the list.
yeah, yeah. So, which category do you want to guess a little bit? Maybe romance, you would maybe know a little
Yeah,
bit
I mean,
more?
I've read some 2025 romances. I feel like there has to be an Emily Henry that's come out. Um, we've had an Allie Hazel, like Mate came out for Allie Hazelwood. I'm not sure whether that'll be in romantasy or in romance. But I'm
Mhm.
sure that it's on the list somewhere. Um, hmm. I mean, I've read some good romances this year, but I just don't think they're going to make the list, you know?
Yeah. Well, I
I
mean,
think I'm just
there's,
like all of the ones
yeah,
that have already, like the people have already been.
sure, 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 sure.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think in,
scrolling through my 20.
yeah, I, to be honest, I think there's only one on this book, one on this list, and let me pull it up. But I think there's only one on this list of an offer I didn't know too much about. All the other ones, I see them and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. They're like
Makes sense. Yeah.
continuation of series or like something, right? So of course there's a
Sounds like Love
Abby
might be on
Jimenez,
there. I've read the Abby Jimenez. I've read the BK Borison. I thought it was fine.
but
There's
like
the
you
Emily
see,
Henry.
of
Yeah.
course there's the BK Borison. Of course the Anna Huang like has been very popular. The new, Siphon Sparrow, the Bryn
Yeah.
Weaver, and even like Liz Ford, right? I think this is the last in the
Mm.
series.
Oh, there's
Um,
the Allie Hazelwood. I forgot Deep End came out this year. For some reason
yes.
in my head it was last year.
I think
And of course
two
there's
or
an
three
Elsie.
books. She had three books come out this year, right? Something like this, right? Because there's
I
the
know she had
Mate.
at least two in the novella because I read
Yes.
Deep End.
Yep.
I read she had a spooky novella come
Hmm.
out in like from Amazon, and then um I just read Mate a few weeks ago.
Sure. And of course, like also like the Elsie Silver Wild Side has been very popular, so it makes sense. The only one I don't know too
Yeah,
much is the Carly Fortune, but it seems also very popular. It's just not
I've
the,
seen
I
it
guess,
around. I think I might
I
actually
guess
have an arc of
it's,
it, or maybe I didn't get an arc of it.
yeah.
Like it was on the list, but I decided not to accept an arc of it.
Mm, mhm. I guess for me, it's just maybe the people that I see, on social media are not reading this type of romance. I don't know. Just,
Yeah.
or maybe they
No,
just
I
don't
mean,
know this author.
I think that the Carly Fortune is a little bit more like, I don't want to say upmarket, but like maybe skew slightly on the literary side. At least that was my
Mhm,
perception of it,
mhm.
though I might be totally wrong. I'm actually surprised to see the favorites on here instead of like
Yeah,
historical.
me too.
That's really
Me
surprising
too.
to me.
But then there's always like a couple books where you're like, huh? I was not expecting it in this category, right? But
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I
just
have not read the favorites, but my understanding is that it doesn't follow the structure of a typical romance. So
no.
that's interesting to me.
Or
Interesting in
even
like
like,
a skews negative interesting.
yeah. But like I would say like because like some people might argue that it's not really historical fiction because it's like only like, in the 1990s or whenever it's set, right? But then you could
Feels
put it
historical to
in
me.
the fiction otherwise or something, right? Um
Yeah,
because
yeah.
like it would fit more than for me, the romance, but also I haven't read the book, so I can't, definitely say. And also like
Yeah.
genres, it's also like depends. It's subjective too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
I
think we're
think
probably on the same page.
we should go to romantasy, and then we can decide also like after that. We should
Yeah, we
sprint
can.
probably after that.
We should sprint after
Uh
that, and then maybe we can come back and look at a few more categories. Um,
yeah,
yeah, I saw when you, full disclosure, I saw on the screen when you clicked over to romantasy, I saw the
yep.
magical innkeeping, whatever. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
not surprised that one's on there. That was going to be one of my predictions. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I have a bunch of cozy fantasies that I read, but not that many like actual romantasies. Um,
Yeah.
Oh, Allie
There
Hazelwood did have another one. She came out with 3 books and a novella. She also had Problematic Summer Romance this year. That's
yeah.
wild. Um, yeah, I'm scrolling through the 2025 releases that I've read, and I'm not seeing much romantasy just because I haven't read that much, at least not much that I loved. I bet Mate's going to be on there. I would be surprised if it's not. Um, Charlotte Stein, I think, has maybe been on the list before. She came out with Dealing with a Desperate Demon, which I thought was fine, but I don't think that one's going to be on there. Ruby Dixon has By the Horns, which like would be funny if it was on there. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Hemlock and Silver, I don't know. I don't really think it's a romantasy. I'm surprised that Kingfisher wasn't um, in the fantasy category, I suppose.
So to be
Um,
honest, so she was in the nominees in the top 30 list, I think. And then
okay, gotcha.
I think she didn't pass the top 10, I think.
That makes sense. It wasn't her strongest.
But also like the
Um,
top 10 is very huge, right? If you look at the names that you have in the fantasy section, you have Joe Abercrombie, Brandon Sanderson, names like that. So it gets, difficult.
I
Okay,
guess
let
just
me
in my heart, like I want Kingfisher to be there. Like
yeah, no.
I think that
I
they should be.
definitely want.
And
Also
I
like
think it's definitely a different style of fantasy, but it's a style of fantasy that I love so much. And so like I want
yes.
it to be successful in that space. Yeah.
Yes. And I definitely wish that, like they would, accept like things like, Paladin's Grace that was released, traditionally published. But they say like, oh yeah, but it's a re-release. It's not a new release, so it's not on this list.
Yeah.
Um,
I tend to I feel like it's complicated when you're republishing things. And
no, it
I
is.
appreciate that
It
they
is
have a clear
complicated,
guideline on that.
but if you see one of them on this list, I'm sorry, but like
Yeah.
Alchemized, yes,
Yeah.
it's true, has been rewritten, but
It's
it's
been
also
changed.
based on something that was, written before. Um,
Talk about things I forgot came out in 2025. I forgot Onyx Storm came out in 2025.
yes, I was,
My
I was
God.
telling you, like, you forgot. Um,
That's wild.
based based just on
Night in the Moth, I'm not
popularity,
surprised to see. What?
I'm just expecting Alchemized to win, and I'm not super
I
thrilled,
wouldn't be super
but like
excited about that as a concept. But
me
that's
neither.
okay.
But
I'm
like,
still sad
yeah.
that like all of the like that Apprentice to the Villain is such a big one.
Mm-hmm.
I did not. I read the first one and I did not like it at all. So
Mm,
I'm just I don't know. I'm
yeah.
just kind of baffled at what yeah, that one baffles me. But Mate's
This one
there,
I'm
which
happy about. It's, I mean, not that I loved the first book, but I think it's a cute, like cozy vibes. And I think it's like probably also different vibes to like a lot of the other books on this list. So I think it's fine. It's nice to
yeah.
have a little bit of variety, to be honest. Um,
I like having a cozy. I did not this one was not my favorite. I think I actually like
yeah.
the first one more. That might have been an unpopular opinion. But I think that this one's really riding the coattails of Secret Society of Irregular Witches. I think if that one hadn't come out, this
Sure.
one would not be nearly as popular.
Yeah. Yeah. To be honest, I was surprised that Emily Wilde got into the top 10 because there were others I forgot now, but there were others that were also big ones. So I'm surprised this one won compared to the others, but also it
Mm.
is the sequel to a series, so maybe, like others. Um, Shield of Sparrows, I'm not surprised because Daphne Perry is like already a well-established, romance author, and a lot of people have been talking about this one for sure.
I
Also
actually haven't
Encantra
heard much
because
about that, so that one I might need to look into.
Shield of Sparrows. I mean, it's been like on social media, I think on TikTok, like a lot of people on YouTube who read like romance and fantasy have been like and romantasy have been like hyping it up a lot and saying like it's great and all those things. I'm a little
Well, it shows you how
hesitant
little I've
for
been
this
on
one.
social media recently. Here at this. Good one.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think I'm a little bit
cool.
hesitant about Shield of Sparrows, but I will try it because I do want to try, like new authors also to see which ones I like or don't like. Um
Yeah,
yeah, so I think this one, yeah, I don't think there's any like big surprises because like Rebecca Ross also is an author that has been, writing fantasy before and all those things. So I think there's, yeah, literally no. But like you're not
for sure.
expecting huge surprises at this stage either, right? So makes sense.
I have been
Yeah.
ardently ignoring Michelle's question for minutes and minutes, and so I'm gonna answer it now. Michelle, I'm making a gingerbread man. I'm embroidering him. I keep turning him the wrong way. There he is. So right now I'm just doing the flowers, and then I'm gonna go back in and add all of the other fun stuff. Um, but yeah, gingerbread man. Huzzah! Holidays. It's for my school.
Cool.
Should we roll? Do you want me to roll or do you want to pick a time, Clementine?
We can roll. Maybe we can ask people in the chat how much they want to roll. What die do you prefer that we roll? Let
Yes,
us
if you
know
have a
in the
preferred die,
comments.
let me know, but you only have like 10 seconds to do so because I'm going to roll real fast. Michelle hasn't said anything, so I'm going to roll a d12. I got a 4.
Oh,
So that would be 20 minutes. Oh, Michelle, our last one was a d8. So I might have vetoed your
yeah.
d8 suggestion anyway. So this works out perfectly. Okay. So 4 would be a 20-minute sprint. Setting the time now. Adding to the stage. Friends, good luck. Happy reading. Enjoy your books. See you soon. Hello, hello.
Welcome back.
Right at the beginning of the sprint, I had to get up to change my earbud and plug in my computer. And when I did that, Atlas settled right on my lap. So for most of that, I didn't embroider any. I just pet Atlas as I listened to my book. But I had a nice time.
Makes sense. Makes
We're learning
sense.
more about the politics. Things are just kind of business as usual over here. And Thief Flyer Lady, I made it another 4%. So I'm at 86% now.
Mm-hmm.
Or 86% left to read, 14% read. I forgot that I was having to do math
Sure.
in my head.
Sure. I read like 15 pages. So, still reading slowly-ish and having fun, like we had some experiments with the bread magic and that was funny.
Nice.
For sure. I wish she would give a name to her gingerbread man, but that's a slight like so
Nice.
and Michelle did read 20 minutes, which is good because we had a 20-minute sprint, so she wasn't distracted.
Checks out. Yep. Good estimation.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Okay. I feel like
look at more of the categories, or what do you want to do?
I mean, we can go about any of the categories that you want to. I don't feel like I have a lot to say, to be honest, for the other categories, because I don't know a lot of them after that, right?
I would
Even
be
the science
interested to look at the
fiction.
mysteries, and I would be interested to look at sci-fi.
Sure. Which one do you want to look at first? Mystery?
I think sci-fi is the one that we might have the most to say about. Perhaps, but maybe not. Honestly, I would love to take a look at the nonfiction too. I know that not all of us read a ton of nonfiction, but
we can start with nonfiction if you want.
Everything is tuberculosis is pretty far up there. Sorry?
We can start with nonfiction if you want.
Sure. Okay.
I don't think.
Oh, of course,
I know.
abundance is there. My gosh. One day, everyone will always have been against this. Is on my list. I need to get to it. It's about Palestine. Service Ferry, Murderland. I think I've heard of Murderland. Is this all? Just the 8?
No.
Or are there? Oh, okay. There we go. There's everything is tuberculosis. I was like, everything is tuberculosis is probably going to win this. How is it not on the list?
I'm sorry,
I
but
read
like
really
10. They don't put the by 5.
Yeah.
It's by 4.
Yeah.
So like you have the odd 2 down there. So
I don't know, friend. I don't know why they designed it that way, but yeah. Honestly, not a ton of these look super interesting to me, other than the ones I've already mentioned. I wouldn't be surprised if Abundance won, but Abundance is a little bit more like in the weeds than I think a lot of people are. Like it's very popular, but it's very in the weeds. So my guess is that everything is tuberculosis is going to win this category. It's the only one I've read.
I think it's the only author I know.
Yeah.
Really. Okay. Should we go to science fiction?
Let's do. Okay,
I think it's the one I voted for, mostly because I know it's not going to win because of the other authors that are on there that are way more popular. And I wanted, even if I hadn't read from the author, I wanted to say, like, I'm going to put my vote on the author because I've liked their other books, right? So anyway.
Sure.
And that's Annalie Newitt's the automatic noodle, but like, um I feel like Nikki Ehrlich, I've seen the author before, but it's more, isn't it more, I thought it was more historical fiction. Their other works.
I mean, if I looked at this cover, I would assume it was historical fiction.
Me too. But like I distinctly remember seeing this author's name in like historical fiction for other novels, right? That's what I meant also. I think a little bit more, but maybe I was wrong, but I don't know. Of Monsters and Mainframes, I've seen the cover. I just don't know. I've seen a few people
I
talk
just
about
really have
it.
not been plugged into the bookish internet at all. I think I've seen the Dream Hotel cover, but other than that, these are very
Mm.
outside of my experience.
John Scalzi, I know John Scalzi. I
Same.
didn't realize that was this year's release. Adrian Tchaikovsky, yes, I know about that one. I just
Same.
haven't read it because I have other books to read from him before I read this one. Uh, and this one, I don't know. The Book of Lost Hours for fans of the Ministry of Time and the Midnight Library. Okay. A sweeping, unforgettable novel following two remarkable women moving between post-war and Cold War era America and the mysterious time space. So I guess historical fiction slash science fiction kind of thing, probably. Oh, Nadia Corfor. Okay. I didn't know if that one was coming out either, but I know the author.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Oh, I think I might have seen it because I could be totally wrong, but I think one of our friends might be reading it. I think
Mm,
Steffi might have read it or be reading it.
okay. Got it. Anyway, I think science fiction, especially nowadays with other genres that are way more popular at the time, is also not something that we see a lot compared to other things, maybe on social media. I think you were wanting to see the mystery and thriller category, so let's go.
Yeah, I'd love to just glance at them. Holly Jackson, Lisa Jewell, S.A. Cosby, Dan Brown. I'm surprised that Dan Brown
Karen
is still
Slaughter.
writing. Alice Feeney. Yeah. Oh, wait, Vera Wong. That one was
Yep.
great. I gave that book 5 stars. That was a very
Mm-hmm.
good book. It's a great series, so highly recommend.
But I would say that we have mostly like, especially like those like top like 8 up there. It's like
Oh
the
yeah,
names, they're like names you've heard a lot, especially like Lisa
for sure.
Jewell, Karen Slaughter, Frida McFadden, Alice Feeney. You've heard of them a lot for the mystery thriller, right? Before anyway, they've
Yeah.
written so many books. Um,
No,
so
they're
yeah,
certainly
and
not
like
surprising.
I'm not sure which one is gonna win, to be honest. Because there's so many big names in there. Richard Osman also
Yeah.
is like I think yeah, it's number 5 in the Thursday Murder Club, so maybe that one, but also Frida McFadden is very well known for other books that she's read before. So you don't I don't know. Maybe Frida McFadden. I don't know. Eh. But Lisa Jewell also has won before, right? I want to say.
I don't remember the people who have won this, at least the mystery thriller category, but yeah, I I don't know. I'm not usually monitoring this one super closely, but I've been reading a lot of
Yeah.
mystery thrillers recently. Just not like recent releases.
Yeah. No, that's definitely fine. So after that, I think there's not a lot of other categories that we want to look at. I just want to show you the debut novel category.
The debut
because
novels? Yeah, I usually
there's
like the
a
debut novel category.
and I
Oh, goodness. Rest
I
of them look
have
fine,
an
though.
I just have an issue with this one, I would say, in the debut novel category because they did have an indie kind of book before. I mean, I guess it was fan
Like an
fiction, but it
original, not like
was,
published as
well, I mean, they treat this one as an original, right? Because
right.
it's not the same as it was
It's
before.
got
So
the
that
serial
means
numbers filed off. Yeah.
that they wrote a book before. The only thing is it was fan fiction, so maybe it never had an ISBN or something like this, but it was sort of handed off by
Yeah.
people. So it is kind of, it's a weird kind of
It's the
situation,
first novel that
obviously.
they've published for sale.
Yes. But I still think it's murky for sure, but I and honestly all the other ones I haven't heard of. So I feel a little bit, that's why I feel a little bit murky for this one because it feels like all the others are debut authors you might not have heard of too much. And then there's this one that's like just,
To
popped
be
off.
fair, that's usually how it is. Even like with the debut novels, because some people like write short stories and stuff, and then they still have a debut novel. Like they'll be
Sure.
published in literary magazines, and their debut novel will be on this list, right?
Mm.
So I think it's
Mhm.
kind of comparable. Everyone comes in with their own. I guess it would be like advantages in this process.
Sure.
I I think it's says something about the internet that Alchemized will probably win this category, perhaps. But honestly,
Mm.
looking at this list of books, I would maybe try the like Tides in the Moon one, but the rest of them probably aren't really my
Yeah.
jam. A lot of them look like historical or literary, right?
Yeah, no.
So
No.
it makes sense that Alchemized would have an advantage just based on genre, even more than like an acquired
I
fan base
Yeah,
necessarily.
I know. It's just I'm kind of, like also looking at this. I don't know exactly because like obviously they just look at the list and then they, put whatever's on the top 10. They don't look at the genres and stuff, but it's sort of interesting to me that it seems only one or two seem to be more like science fiction fantasy kind of genre in there. Because like
I will
although
say
A
this doesn't
Resistance of
always happen in this
Witches,
debut category. It tends to be pretty
yeah, no,
different each
no, no,
year.
it doesn't.
I
It
remember Book
doesn't.
of Doors being pretty high up there last year
Yeah.
in this
Yeah, yeah. No,
category.
no,
So
no, no. Here,
I think that that's not necessarily a structural thing. I think it just kind of flows
no.
with the year.
No, no, but I think it is interesting that, this like list is what it is this year. Gross. It's not always like this. And then
I've
if you
also, just like on a personal note, I've read a lot of debuts this year. I've maybe read
Mhm.
like 18 debuts that came out this year, and I have been dazzled by almost none of them. Like
Mhm.
last year, I read some debuts that were really dazzling to me. I was like, whoa, this is an amazing book. And this year, I have just not had that feeling from very many debut
Mhm.
novels or really novels in general. Honestly, I don't know if it's just me being in a little bit of a rut or if like publishing is in a little bit of a rut right now, but
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
have not been dazzled.
Got it. Yeah. And just for completion's sake, because like in the audiobook, there are some that you might have heard of. So this is the
Yeah.
audiobook one. So obviously there are
Mhm.
some names.
Oh, and New Pride and
What's interesting
Prejudice.
to me is that Bryn Weaver Taurus season is the one that came out on top for the audiobook category. I think it was in the romance maybe section too. When you had the top 30, right? And that's the one that came out for the audiobook. But it didn't, in the romance in the top 10, right? which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Which I guess, says something probably about the audio narrators for these ones, right? But yeah,
Yeah,
obviously,
I've always been a little bit baffled by the audiobook category
yeah.
because it's really the only category that like is based on a format. I guess do they have a
Hmm.
graphic novels category anymore? Okay. So I guess graphic novel is the other one. But like I
No,
do
they
not often
don't.
listen to an audiobook and go, wow, that audiobook was the reason I enjoyed the story. Like that the format made it. I think that there are some audiobooks where that's true. Um,
Sure.
but I don't think there are very many. And like Onyx Storm, for example, was just an audiobook. It's not like they
Yeah.
were doing anything like special or interesting with that
No.
book on audio. So this category is a little bit confusing to me personally.
Me too, to be honest, because I think it's still like people are still voting for the book and not for the audio. With
Oh
the
yeah,
way
for
they're
sure.
voting, right? Um, because like for me, I saw like when I saw the top 30, I there was like one of the books by there was The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. And I voted for
Mhm.
that one because I love the audio narrator for this, right? Because he narrates all the audiobooks by Joe Abercrombie and I
Yeah.
know him and I know that I love his books. So I voted for this one because I knew this one. And for me, like the audiobook, but also like the graphic novel category doesn't exist anymore. So I think
Oh,
this one is kind of weird to still be there, right? Um so but also like they remove categories, they they put new ones. I don't know. It's always been very opaque, how even like the top 30 list is even put in the first place. There were,
yeah.
questions about it being like a lack of minority and, people of color authors and stuff like this. And I have noticed now when you
Comes
have like the
up
top
every
30
year.
lists that you do have sometimes in some genres, you do have a few choices that have a lot less ratings, but they seem to be like people of colors. So I don't know if they like added some minority authors, like kind of they look at the list and they look at the list with minorities or with something to add them in
Like
there.
diverse
I don't
voices
know.
in mind.
I don't know
But
exactly, but that's okay. But it's
yeah, I think
it's
the
always a
problem is
list
baked into the title, right? Like it's the most popular
choice.
books.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
what I think the Goodreads Choice Awards reveals more than anything else is like our biases as like a readership rather than
Yes.
even something that like Goodreads specifically is doing. Like I think a lot of the problems that we are identifying are not really Goodreads' fault. It's now I still don't think there should be an audiobook category, I'll be frank.
No.
But like
No.
um,
I just
like there are audiobook awards from people who like are experts in judging those things. And I think that that's awesome. And I want to
Mhm.
celebrate those, but I just don't think that that's what this award is made to do. Um, but that being said, like even the like when I see a lack of diverse books on here, what that brings to mind for me is like, well, like I guess I better do a better job reading diversely and like convincing the people around me that these books are worthwhile and like worth their time, right? Like I can't trust Goodreads to do that for us. And if we like as a
yeah.
community are doing a better job of that as a whole, right? If some of the most popular books are books that kind of center viewpoints different from our own, then the awards and the popularity contests will follow.
Sure.
Ah, now I feel a little bit bummed.
Of course you were gonna be because like it is a popularity contest and there's also like with TikTok obviously there's some books that are being like thrown at everyone and even people who don't read a lot see those and that's what they vote for obviously, right? And that's the way it works, right?
Yeah.
Just But like I think I'm
Yeah.
surprised this year at the number of books that not the book number of books that I haven't read from 2025 because that's normal. But the number of books that I don't care about reading, because like
Mm,
even in the list that you have, there's
yeah,
like for like even
I
like the
agree.
romantasy and fantasy categories that I read a lot of, it's most of my reading. I'm like, okay, there's two or three books that I want to read, and that's it mostly, right?
I
And
completely agree with you.
yeah,
I
and
like
I
I said,
think
I haven't been dazzled. New releases have
yep,
not been dazzling me this year. And I think that it's
no,
possible that it's me being a little bit slumpy, but I think that it's likely that it's also that like publishing is just in a little bit of a,
yeah.
everything kind of feels the same. Um,
But I
and
think definitely
no,
the romantasy has fallen into like, oh, now they know it's very, like very well sold and everything. And like all the previously contemporary romance authors are now putting like a romantasy book, right? And like all of them are
but
kind
it's
of the
like a
same.
year too late. Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh,
Well, the problem also is
I
like
I
it's not even a year too late. It's that now there's like too many in the market that sound
yeah.
exactly the same, right? Um, and I don't want to read something I've already read before, right? Unless it does something differently or it makes me, feel something in some way, right? Um, Yeah, I think I've read from like a couple of the new authors and I've been like wowed. Especially like there were some people, like shouting at the rooftop. For example, there was the Winged Weaver, which was in the top 30, but not in the top 10 here. I think for Romantasy from Julie Johnson. And everybody
Sure.
I knew, that was reading Romantasy was like, oh, it's amazing. It's one of my favorite books this year and all that. And I read it and I was like, nah. I mean, I enjoyed it. It
Um,
was fun, but like, I'm like, I'm not feeling anything. And that's bad because like it's the first in a series. So if I'm already not feeling anything, odds are I'm gonna pick up the second in a year and be like, nah, okay, I won't continue or something like that, right? So we'll see, but
yeah, for sure. No, I think that I'm waiting for the next thing to catch because I feel like I do not think this is true for me right now, but a few years ago, I was really ahead of the curve with like liking things that were about to get popular.
mm,
So like I got on the cozy fantasy train before it was called cozy fantasy. I was like looking for books like that. I was looking for romantasies before they were called romantasies, right? Like, and then
hmm
it really feels like it follows this cycle where something that I really love, I'm like, wow, like other people are discovering it and I'm finding new recommendations. This is so cool. And then it goes, oh, there are so many of them and so few of
hmm
them are good. And then
hmm
it goes, I don't want to read them anymore because they're not
yeah.
good anymore. And I don't like
Well,
them anymore.
I think,
And some of it's like maybe we're getting tired of it, but
yeah.
then I think that some of it legitimately is that like it just it's not innovative anymore and there's no reason to go back to it and we need to start looking for something else.
I think the main problem though is when it starts to be this popular, there's some books that come out that have been written just because it's popular, right? And it's not because like the author feels very strongly about putting this book out into the world and in some sense.
Yeah.
I'm not putting shade on any author because obviously you write what is, you know, to be read by other people, but like, um I don't know how to say what
Yeah,
I
I
want
mean,
to
I
say.
don't think that authors have to have like a grand moral stance in their books as far as like this is
No.
the book of my heart. This is the one thing that
Yeah,
I
yeah. No,
have to
sure.
write. I can't do anything else. I really don't
No.
believe in that, but I do hear you where I think a lot of authors are writing to the market, right? And I mean, that's not
Yeah.
really on the authors, to be frank. It's on the
No.
publishers. If you want to make a living as an author, you have to get a publisher to
Yep.
publish your book. And if you're a publisher is going to publish your book, it has to be marketable. So writing to market is a smart, really savvy thing to do, and something that a lot of people have to do.
Yeah, no,
It's why we
definitely.
see a
It's
lot of
just
innovation in the independent space before we see it um,
yeah.
in traditional
Yeah,
publishing, right? It's why our cozy fantasies were all published independently before they ended up being picked up. It's why a bunch of romanticises were published independently before they started being picked up. And now cozies and romanticises are just being regularly published by big authors
yeah,
or by big publishers. Um, yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
we're just describing how trends work at this point. Sorry.
Yeah, no. No, no, it's sorry. Yeah. We're rumbling, which probably means that we should try and sprint. We haven't
We
been
should
very
sprint.
productive
Yes.
today.
What should I roll?
Uh, we did D8 and D12. How about D10?
Yes, D10. Sounds great. Full disclosure, I am feeling a little bit tired. Not totally tired. I wasn't falling asleep yet, but
Okay.
I am starting to wane a little bit. Oh no. We got a 10. That would be an hour. I'm gonna set it, but if we do an hour, I think this will probably be my last one.
As you wish. If you want, we can do a shorter sprint. If you feel like you're gonna be even more tired if we do that.
I feel like we have to follow what the dice decide, right? Like we put our fate in the dice
Yes, we
hand,
do. We do.
and then it's only fair that we follow through. All right. 60 minutes on the clock. Good luck. Happy reading. Go for it. Hello. We're back.
Welcome
How
back.
did it go?
Good. I read like I think 25 minutes or so of A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking, and I had to stop because I reached the point that I have to discuss tomorrow with my friend. And then I switched to The Things Gods Break. I think I read probably a few percent, but I didn't check. 4% of it, like
Nice.
5 minutes in. And of course, it stopped at the worst inconvenient moment where it just learned something. It's not going in the direction that I thought it was. I do have
Mm-hmm.
to say, without giving any spoilers, right? Because like I remember, like in a lot of other um books like this, right? Where the first book is this trials kind of thing, right? And then you're like, oh, the sequel is not as good because it doesn't have any trials, right? I remember a lot of people saying like The Serpent and the Wings of Night, for example, the second book is not as good because it didn't have a trial element.
It
Um,
doesn't have the same structure.
yes, exactly. And I do have to say, it doesn't have the same structure because obviously the trials portion is done, but there is a portion that can be a little bit like trials too. So like
Okay.
it does have, you do have little, things like that. Um, so it does, yeah, it does. Um, but overall, like the plot and whatever happened, I'm like, okay, it's interesting, but I'm also very worried about the execution of it. And I can't say more without,
You're worried
spoilers or
about the
stuff.
what part of it?
The execution.
Oh, okay.
How
Yeah.
like, because like right now it's just given to us, but like when we get more and more into it and more of it, I'm worried about the logic of everything still making sense. I think if that makes sense, right? That everything falls into place. Um, I think so
Yeah.
far it's okay, but it's always a gamble with when something like this is introduced. So we'll see. Anyway, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, I remember not loving the execution of the trials in the first book, to be frank. Like it felt very like episodic. And I like
Yeah.
couldn't remember like there were lots of them too, which I think there were a few too many.
I mean, if that
So it's not
helps
surprising to
you,
me that that's a potential critique.
yeah, I think if that helps you in this one, there's not going to be as many. I mean, it's not trials per se, but there's not as many,
Sometimes.
um, for sure.
Yeah, makes sense. Alrighty. I just realized I never paused the timer, so it was gonna meow at us again. Yeah, so for my update, I got to 22%, which is pretty far. Um,
Yeah.
and the book is still like kind of plugging away. Um, I can already there's like something that I believe is going to be a plot twist later that we like already know that
Mm-hmm.
like I can kind of guess, which is a little bit disappointing. Like I like for things to be actually surprising, and this one was a little bit too clear. We're starting to get some flashbacks from like the planning and the ball and like what was actually supposed to happen versus what happened and like what was actually part of the plan, which is interesting. I'm having a good time with it. I think it's like a good version of a of like what it's trying to do. Like I've read some books that are trying to do this, which is like a fairy tale retelling, where you're like, oh, this person has so much more agency. And I think in this one, it's potentially actually true. I don't know. I still think it's interesting. I think it's strong.
Mhm.
On in embroidery news, I've made a lot of progress. It looks kind of funny on the computer, like on
Mhm.
the photos, but I've
Yeah.
done most of the face, and they're like all different flowers and things. So I actually think, oh, that's a little bit
Oh.
better. I think it looks kind of pretty, but it's gonna
Mhm.
having the gray behind it definitely makes it look a little bit funny. So, but yeah, progress. So yay.
Yay.
Huzzah.
And Michelle read about 40 minutes out of the hour. She watched some Jeopardy and ate dinner. That was productive.
That's very productive. That's awesome.
Mhm.
Oh, thank you, Michelle. I appreciate it. Michelle said my embroidery is very cute.
Mhm.
I hope it turns out well and not like totally awful. But if it turns out awful, I just don't take it into school and I go, I'm sorry, Miss Hoffman, I won't be contributing anything to the
Mm.
competition. I think it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
still feeling tired, so I think that one was probably my last one. Um,
Sure. That's okay. I'm not gonna push for
alrighty,
more sprints. It's already 2 a.m. for me, you know.
that's really late. Should go to bed. We should both go to bed. All
Mhm.
right. Everyone have a wonderful week. Thanks for reading with us.
Yes.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.